All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Funky Buddha Brewery, and they are out of Oakland Park, Florida, and this is their Last Snow. So this is a porter with coffee and natural coconut flavor. It comes in at 6.4% alcohol by volume, 25 IBUs at the time of review, and this can is approximately 3 months old. And I want to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Gregory, for this beer. So big thanks to him in the description box. I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies he hooked me up with. He hooked me up with a small yet incredibly impactful beer mail that contained 4 beers, 3 of which were from Florida and 2 of them from Funky Buddha. He sent me this along with their maple bacon coffee porter, which I reviewed a couple weeks ago, and spoilers, it was quite delicious. Now that beer, along with this beer, I had many years ago at different bottle shares. We're talking mid-2010s, and I gave both of them a 5 out of 5. However, you're at a bottle share, your palate is compromised, so to speak, unless you drink it as one of the first couple beers. You only get a couple ounces, so it's really cool to be able to try both of these on a fresh palate and have an entire can to myself. The maple bacon coffee porter didn't live up exactly to how I remember it being. However, it was very close. I didn't give it a 5 out of 5, but it wasn't far off. It was still delicious, especially for a sub 6.5%. I guess pastry porter. You would look at that beer, and this beer is a pastry porter to some degree. So I'm hoping for more of the same from this one. So let's crack it open, get it into the glass, and see if that is indeed the case. Now, if you're a relatively new viewer of the channel, you might not know coconut's one of my favorite ingredients in beer. I love it, whether it's like added to it or you get it from like the barrel characteristics and like a barrel aged beer. I love it. I think it's great, and we'll see if that's the case here. I remember it being quite tasty many years ago, and I love coconut coffee. I drink it occasionally. I love like coconut creamer you put in coffee, so I'm thinking this one's going to be right in my wheelhouse. So that looks beautiful for a porter. On camera, probably going to be pitch black. In person, more of a very dark brown. Has just over a finger of this really creamy brown colored head. Very creamy looking for sure. Swirl up here. It just looks beautiful in the glass. Like it really does. Hold up to the light. Maybe it is more of like a very dark brown. It's opaque. You can't see anything through it. There's no lights at the bottom, sneaking through or anything. It looks fantastic for a 6.4% coconut coffee porter or coffee coconut porter. Yeah. If they made a coffee version of a Mounds bar, that's what this smells like. It's straight on dark chocolate, sweeter dark chocolate with a very sweet kind of coconut nose. Like you can't smell sweetness technically, but it's a perceived sweetness. And it's just chocolate. It's chocolate, it's coconut, and there's some coffee. Has a roasted malt into that, like, I'd say like medium roasted coffee character. Oh my God, this smells so fucking good. Listen, I can sit here and BS you and talk about, 10 to 12 different flavor notes that I sometimes get in beers, and I'll be picking stuff out if I sometimes be doing an IPA review, and I'll just talk about all the different fruits and whatnot. And here, sweet dark chocolate, sweeter coconut, roasted, like a medium roasted coffee, and roasted malt. There's nothing else really in the nose, maybe a touch of vanilla. This smells exactly how I remember it smelling. Let's hope the taste lives up to the aroma. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again to Gregory. Listen to me. Yeah, Unhinged Joe is about to start, okay? Here's the thing. This beer and the maple bacon coffee porter. I've said before, when it comes to darker beers, porters, stouts, and you start throwing different ingredients, additives, adjuncts in them, a lot of times they just don't have the richness, they don't have the body that you'd want from the beer, because you're drinking it, you're hoping that it's like 8, 9, 10% because the body would be better, the mouthfeel would be better, and then the intensity of flavors would be better. I don't know what they do with this beer and the maple bacon coffee porter, but these are 2 of the best sub 6.5% beers that I've ever had within like styles, like just basically a pastry porter or like an adjunct porter. It's rich without being over the top decadent and sweet. The body is not incredibly thin and watery like you might suspect it would be. They just do an incredible fucking job with these beers. The body's like medium touch over medium body for 6.4%. That's spectacular. Some people might want to see it, super full and, super, viscous and just like almost syrupy, right? I don't need that for a 6.4% beer. It makes it infinitely more drinkable if it's a little bit lighter in the body. And this is impressive for the ABV. So I'm absolutely on board with the body, the mouthfeel. It has a nice moderate, I'd say mild to moderate carbonation, more approaching moderate, but it's very smooth and somewhat creamy on the palate. Yeah, body mouthfeel spectacular. Taste. Listen, what I said in the nose definitely carried over, 100%. It's, if you took if they had like Reese's does all kinds of different variants of their Reese's cups and a bunch of different stuff. Same thing with Snickers. Snickers has 7,000 Twix. I've never seen like a variant of Mounds or Almond Joy. I'm sure they exist. I've never seen them. But if you took a Mounds bar and you made a coffee variant of it, liquefied it, put it in a beer, that's this beer. It's fucking, the coffee's not, overbearing. It's basically chocolate covered coconut in the best way possible from front to back. There's an underlying like roasted malt character, which is nice. Again, mild to moderate like coffee roast, but it's like a medium roasted coffee front to back. This doesn't hit me in stages, just across the palate. It's basically one consistent flavor of like 4 or 5 different characteristics, and that's all it is. Like I said, it has a rich kind of overall feeling to the beer, but it's not super decadent or too sweet. It's not even remotely cloying. There is like a semi-dry kind of finish on the back of palate, very mild bitterness. The one knock for this beer, for me personally, having I had this back in I think 2016, so you're talking 8 years ago. There's been so many different crazy, the evolution of beer has been insane over the past like 8 to 10 years. Back in 2016, there were some beers doing something similar to this, but now your local brewery does it, right? So back then, giving this a 5 out of 5, it's because I really didn't experience anything this delicious at this ABV. Now I've had some that come close, so this is no longer a 5 out of 5 beer, but this is closer than the maple bacon coffee porter, only because I like coconut more. The one downfall of this beer is there's not enough dryness and bitterness on the back end to completely balance it out. So it leans sweet, but like I said, it's not too decadent, it's not cloying, and it's not too sweet overall. It just leans more sweet. This is a fucking amazing beer. Kudos to Funky Buddha for, these beers have been getting, it's got to be close to 10 years that they've been around, maybe even longer. And now they're in, 6-pack of 12 fluid ounce cans, and they're a little bit easier to get as a whole. And it's like, this is still exactly what I remembered it at bottle share. So despite my palate being compromised, it definitely lives up to what I remember it being to some degree, like 98%. This is great. This is better than the maple bacon coffee porter, and I gave that like a 4.7, I think. This is not going to get a 5 out of 5, but I'll tell you what, when I check this in on tap, this will get a 5 out of 5 because I'm going to just dock it a little bit for the sweetness. But Funky Buddha, their last snow, 6.4%, you really can't tell. Like I said, if I was doing this blind, I might think this is like 8+% because the body's bigger than what it is. The flavors would indicate, no, this isn't a 6.4% beer. It's impressive what they do with these beers. So I'm going to have to give it an appropriate score. I'm going to give this, again, close to 5. This is a 4.9 out of 5. Like, who cares? 4.95 out of 5. It's fucking amazing. Fuck, ratings, whatever. I love rating because I just love stats. I love numbers. But really it doesn't matter because what I'm telling you, this beer is for me personally, is a fucking amazing, world-class, sub 6.5% pastry porter that isn't too pastry forward. It's the best way I can put it. And if you can get this, I think this is fucking amazing. Now, they have a little spiel here on the back. It says creamy, coconutty, roasty. Yes. It says, last snow, an ode to those rare days the needle dips below 70. Fucking Florida. The rare days it dips below 70? That's basically like 7 straight months here in Buffalo, New York. Anyway, it says, last snow tastes the way a winter wonderland feels. Yeah, I wish we could get this here. When they would release this, I think this is like their winter. I think this and the maple bacon, why is it so hard to say? Maple bacon coffee porter are two of the like winter seasonals. I think this is released in early winter or maybe late fall, and then that is released in late winter. But yeah, price point availability, I have no idea. I would hope that if you get 6-pack of this, it's under $20, maybe in like the $14 to $16 realm. I would pay $20 for a 6-pack for that all day, every day. And availability, I'm sure there's places in Florida that get it. I don't think they get distro outside the state. All I know is for a coconut beer that's under 6.5%, it's probably the best I've ever had. hands down. Like, it's fucking divine. So if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. I'm sure a lot of you will disagree with my take on this one, but again, I'm biased. I love coconut, and I think this does, like that Imperial German chocolate cupcake style from Angry Chair. Was it delicious? Yes. Was it too sweet? Yes. Would I rather have this over that? Yes, because it's not too sweet. It's very drinkable. I could drink a couple cans of this, not get sick of it. That had maybe a better flavor, but this is better as a whole. And I know that might sound crazy to some of you out there, but this just does it for me. And it's rare for me to review a beer, 8 to 10 years after I had it originally and come back and be like, oh yeah, it's just how I remembered it. This is pretty close to how I remember it. And it's probably my palate is in a position now where I want a little bit more bitterness, where in 2016, I was fine with probably being sweet. I was probably, yeah, it's cool. Now I want a little bit more bitterness or dryness. And that's the only thing that's different in this beer. And again, that's probably my palate. So huge thanks to Gregory for both of these beers. They were, bucket list beers in terms of I've had them before, but I wanted to review them on the channel, and he came through, and I can't thank you enough, Gregory. The last beer I have from his beer mail is Lagunitas Willatize. I'm probably not going to review his bottle. I mentioned it in another review, but the bottle's cracked on the outside, and I'm not going to chance potentially having shards of glass in my beer. So if I can find another bottle that, I will review it. Otherwise, won't be able to review it, which is a bummer. He understands, though. I mean, I'm on blood thinners and stuff, so I'm not trying to fuck around and find out. So anyway, thanks to Gregory. Thanks everybody stopping by. Like I said, 6.4%. You really can't tell. And yeah, again, if you've had this one, comment section, I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, appreciate it. Till the next one. Cheers.